So, when I was a comedian back in the day, I was told, and it's very well known, there are 7 topics that you cannot talk about as a comedian. They're not funny, people are not going to laugh, and they're too controversial to make fun of. So me being the person that I am, I said, challenge accepted, and began and wrote an entire set specifically about all the things that are not funny that you cannot talk about as a comedian. Turns out they were right about a few of them. And some of them got the biggest laughs of the entire sets that I had done. That has always been my nature. It has always been my nature. If I see an elephant in the middle of the room and everybody else is stepping over them, I'm like, there's an elephant and it's huge. It's right there. Why are we all dancing around the elephant? Except as a minister. I'm very well aware. There's a saying that staff ministers serve at the pleasure of the spiritual director. I say, and ribbed Dr. James, that I serve at the leisure of the spiritual director. He's on a cruise, and I am up here. But I'm aware that this is not my stage. This is my spiritual home. This is my community. These are the people that I love. I am absolutely a staff minister and a core at the center of this place, this community, but this is not my platform, and this is not my congregation. And so there's a responsibility when the world gets big and life is crazy to figure out how to walk that line, right? Of not alienating people, of not being hurtful, of not saying something that could potentially cause somebody to not want to return to this place that does so much good. And so, being somebody that doesn't know how to not say this is happening and it's hurtful, and also having a responsibility as a thought leader, as a minister, to have a point of view and a perspective about it that is both true and also doesn't fly in the face of somebody's belief system that may not be ready to hear it. I found my voice being stifled and diminished. I found myself not knowing what to say or how to communicate or how to speak. How do I say what is welling up inside of me in a way that is politically correct and that walks the line? And so my solution, because it's also has been in my nature, is to say, somebody else do it. You do it. Get up here and talk about manifesting parking spots. Let's talk about money and careers, and let's talk about all these other things, or not, or you put your big boy pants on and you come talk about what's going on in the world. But I don't know how to do it. And one of my amazing friends, Dr. Thor, when I called him and told him, you do it, we discussed. He's so much more of an adult than I am, let's be honest. He's so grown up. We talked about going back to basics. When I don't know who I am, or I don't remember who I am, or when I'm confused, or when I'm scared, the thing that I know how to do is to go back to basics. And so he opened a random page of Ralph Waldo Emerson's book, and this is the paragraph that came out. With consistency, a great soul has simply nothing to do. He may as well concern himself with his shadow on the wall. Out upon your guarded lips, sew them up with pack thread dew. Else, if you would be a man, speak what you think today in words as hard as cannonballs, and tomorrow speak what tomorrow thinks in hard words again, though it contradict everything you said today. Ah, then, explain the aged ladies, you shall be sure to be misunderstood. Misunderstood. It is a right fool's word. Is it so bad then to be misunderstood? Pythagoras was misunderstood, and Socrates, and Jesus, and Luther, and Copernicus, and Galileo, and Newton, and every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood. He goes on to say, your genuine action will explain itself and will explain your other genuine actions. Your conformity explains nothing. Act singly, and what you have already done singly will justify you now. Greatness always appeals to the future. If I can be great enough now to do right and scorn eyes, I must have done so much right before as to defend me now. Be it how it will, do right now. At random, I chose that song months ago, and yet it was everything that I needed to hear right now in this moment. It's the thing that got my big girl pants on, literally. Not literally. The writer did not come put my pants on, I put them on myself. But I did put on who I am. So here's where I am. I told you, and I expressed it a little bit last week. There is a lot of suffering happening, right? And as a spiritual community and as people who know that what we focus on expands, we know how to shift our consciousness to another thought, to uplift our thoughts, to uplift ourselves, right? I know I live a beautiful, beautiful life. I have an amazing husband. I have 2 gorgeous children that are so intelligent and thriving and living their best lives. I live in a gated community in a beautiful house surrounded by mountains. I have a job that pays me handsomely, so handsomely that inflation is an inconvenience to me. It is not changing my life in any substantial way. That's the life that I live. And you know what? I am equal to my life. We teach that here too, that I am equal to that experience. Our call is not to go down into the depths of somebody else's experience. Our job is not to feel what somebody else is feeling. Our job is not empathy. But I do wonder what would happen if we wondered a little bit more about other people's experiences. I do wonder I want to be clear that I am not making any political statement. I'm not talking about politics. I don't know how everything became about politics, but somehow everything became political. And when it became political, it became taboo to talk about it. Because there's people on the right who politically believe one thing, and there's people on the left who politically believe another. And so, if you stick everything into the box of politics, you're gonna piss somebody off. Something that you say is going to outrage somebody else. But human rights are not political. Equality is not political. Loving one another and treating each other with respect, to actually look somebody in the eyes and understand, truly try to understand what their experience is, that's not political. And the problem is we stopped doing that. We stopped being curious about one another. We started lumping people into groups and deciding that this group aligns with this and that group aligns with that. And so everything that they're saying gets thrown out. I don't know what the solution is to immigration, which is a political issue. But what I do know is that people are suffering because of the way that we're trying to solve it today, or the way that we're handling it today. What I do know is Esperanza, who left her 2 beautiful children that she loves more than anything back in her country in El Salvador to help me raise mine. And every dollar that she made was sent back to help better the lives of those children. That's what I know. That's what I see. And if we saw that, if we started to look at that, that's what can cure it all. The wonder, the curiosity, the caring about one another, opening your eyes and knowing who's holding your hand. That's the world that I want to live in, and that is the cure. But we get so busy. I don't really care about what's playing out in the main stage. I want to know what I can do, what each of us can do. Somebody said to me recently, and I clearly heard it, I clearly understood it, when he said to me, I get it, I'm aligned, but what can I do? I'm about to go out to a fancy dinner right now with my amazing wife. I don't know, where is my responsibility, or what do I do when I have a tremendous amount of compassion for the unhoused and I'm about to go out and have this amazing dinner? Am I responsible for all of it? And we talked about that because it's a great question, right? Because I unapologetically live at the vibration that I live at. I want to elevate it. There's room for more. There's room for more prosperity. There's room for more love. There's room for more compassion. There's room for more wonder. There's room for all of it. But I unapologetically live at the socioeconomic level that I live at. So how do I reconcile that? What's mine to do? And I said, well, no, we're not responsible for saving every human and for fixing it for every human. But if you happen to cross paths with somebody that's unhoused on the way to your amazing dinner, maybe you look them in the eye and you say hello and you offer him some warmth. If he needs socks, maybe you miss your reservation and you show up a little late and you go buy him some socks. We need to start seeing each other. We need to start loving each other. We need to start respecting one another's experiences. When somebody tells you what their experience is, believe them and then know the truth for them. Don't cast them into something that's on the other side or something for somebody else to deal with if they are standing in front of you. Have you ever been on a plane with a baby who's crying? And the mom is can you imagine what it's like to be a mom knowing that your baby is disrupting the entire plane and you don't know when it's going to stop? And by the way, you had to pack 87 things in addition, and you're trying to get through an airport with a car seat and a stroller and a diaper bag and snacks, and this one just wants to walk and play, but you can't let it walk and play because you're on a plane. Do I sound like I've experienced that crying baby? Oh, yeah. How often, and I'm sure not everybody in this room, I'm sure most of us don't look back with irritation and wish that baby would just stop crying so that I could enjoy my flight. But sometimes we do. I just wonder what it would look like if we spent just a moment wondering what it took that morning to get that lady on that plane with that baby. And what it might look like if I offered to help in some small way, or showed her kindness, or gave her a smile, or gave her love, or whatever it was that was called for in action, when I listen to myself, when I stop engaging with the outside world, again, I don't really care what's going on out there. Out there will fix itself when we fix ourselves in here. So it's not about the big, what can I do? But I can engage with you right now. I can wonder about your experience right now. I can have compassion for you right now. And I suspect that for most of us, if we did that, not only would the world look a lot different, but we'd probably be living our lives a lot different. And if we lived our lives a lot different, I think the world that we would live in would be a different place. And that is what has been dying to come out of me. Dying to come out of me. And so I hope that you'll take the message as it's intended. I hope that you will start to question your own beliefs, to start to wonder what the solutions are. That's such a more amazing space to be in. I wonder how we can get out of this. I wonder what beauty exists in this. I wonder what this person that I vehemently disagree with, I wonder what their life experience is that led them to this point to believe what they believe. I wonder what pain they're experiencing or have experienced. That's love only. That's love only. And if we're not doing that, then it's just a vision statement on the wall. I think it's important that we remember in all areas, with everything, no matter what, no matter who, there are no bad people. There are only misplaced beliefs. And so if I can wonder about your beliefs, if I can wonder about you, then I can get to the core of who you are and really recognize you as the God that you are. Because when I start seeing you as God, and you start seeing me as God, that's the recipe to change the world. And with that, I will leave you with two of my newfound favorite Emerson quotes, thanks to the Reverend Dr. Thor. The first, your goodness must have some edge to it, else it is none. And more importantly, and what I really want to say, is I will stand here for humanity, and though I would make it kind, I would make it true. Namaste.